Good evening. The Municipality of Anchorage Platting Board Authority will now come to order. It is July 19, 2017 at 6:30. May we have roll call?
Dan Young.
Present.
Trevor Edmondson.
Present.
Clayton Walker.
Present.
Don Porter.
Present.
Mark Seward.
Present.
Valerie Ritz.
Present.
Jana Welton.
Present.
Kevin Cross and Christina Enix have been excused. Thank you.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the minutes from Wednesday, May 3rd, 2017? Jenna Welton moves and Valerie Ritz seconds. Are there any amendments that need to be made or corrections to the minutes? Seeing none, is there any opposition to accepting the minutes as presented? Seeing no opposition, the motion passes. We'll now turn to special order of business. Are there any disclosures? Dan Young.
Yes, I'm going to do these cases together. In the case S12313 Burlwood Subdivision, lots 1 through 4, and case S12358 DeBar Bragaw Subdivision. My firm has conducted business with the petitioner on other projects. My firm also has ongoing business with the petitioner in the case of S12313. We have no involvement in this project. I have no financial or personal interest in the matters before the board. I can remain impartial in fact and action as a member of this board without personal bias. My past involvement and my personal interests will not prevent me from fairly evaluating the facts of this case.
Thank you. May I have a motion directing Dan Young to participate in case S12313 and S12358? Don Porter has moved and Jana Welton seconds. Don, would you please speak to your motion?
Considering that Dan has stated that he has no financial interest in it and he can remain impartial, and his firm has only done business with the others, I move to direct him to participate in the cases mentioned.
Thank you. Is there any opposition to the motion on the floor? Seeing no opposition, the motion passes. Are there any other disclosures? Mark Seward.
Through the chair, in the same two cases, S12313 Burlwood Sub, I was at the property today and a local resident approached me and started asking questions, but I informed him that I couldn't answer or speak to him. But I know by the rules I need to disclose that, and I told him who I was and what I was doing. On case S12358, DeBar Bragaw Sub, I noticed the petitioner's representative company. I've done business with them on other projects. I'm not involved with this one, and I can remain impartial on both cases and make a decision based on the facts presented tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. May I have a motion directing Mark Seward to participate in case S12313 and S12358? Dan Young moves and Valerie Ritz seconds. Dan, would you please speak to your motion?
Yes, I intend to support this motion. Mr. Seward stated he can remain impartial. He has no financial interest in either of these cases, so I'm going to support the motion.
Thank you. Is there any opposition to the motion on the floor? Then, in that case, the motion passes unanimously. Are there any other disclosures? Seeing none, we'll now turn our attention to the informational items. We have some abbreviated plats, our action summaries from May 1st, May 8th, May 15, June 5th, and February 21st, 2017. No motion is needed. Those are just informational items. And we'll now turn to the consent agenda. May I have a motion to take on the consent agenda? Dan Young moves and Don Porter seconds. Is there any request to withdraw any item from the consent agenda? Seeing none, is there any opposition to the consent agenda? Seeing no opposition, the motion passes unanimously. The Platting Board meets each month on the first and third Wednesday except holidays as regular scheduled meetings. If the Platting Board fails to complete our agenda for a regular meeting, the Board will carry over the remainder of the agenda to the following meeting. The procedure by which the public may speak to the Platting Board at this meeting is, after the staff's presentation is complete on public hearing items, I will ask for public testimony on an issue. People who would wish to testify will follow the time limits established in the Commission Rules of Procedure. The petitioners and their representatives are given 10 minutes in total. They are allowed to reserve part of their time for rebuttal. Representatives of groups, community councils, PTAs each have 5 minutes. Individuals will have 3 minutes. When your testimony is complete, we may ask you questions. You may only testify once on an issue unless the Board asks you additional questions. Any individual may have appeal rights relating to any action the Board takes. Appeal of this decision or any of the conditions is governed by AMC 21-11-304. The decision of the Board at the scheduled public hearing becomes final 7 calendar days after the decision is made on the record, unless a written request is submitted to the Planning Division prior to the expiration of the 7th day to prepare a written decision based upon the record made at the hearing, and the request is accompanied by a written notice of intent to appeal. Adoption of the written decision by the Platting Board becomes the final appealable decision. Within 20 days of the final appealable decision, an interested party must file with the municipal clerk either a written motion alleging new evidence or changed circumstances pursuant to Anchorage Municipal Code 21-11-503, or file an appeal of our decision pursuant to Anchorage Municipal Code 21.30. And with that, we'll now turn to new business and take up case S12313. May we have staff's presentation?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a request for the subdivision of one tract of land into 4 lots. This request of 4 lots is being brought before the Board as it does not qualify for the abbreviated plat process, in that the subdivision of the tract is more than 10 acres in the R10 SL zoning district. The petition site is located just south of Jamie Avenue, east of Mountain Air Drive, and west of Carl Street in Anchorage. The property is zoned R10 SL. The special limitations require a minimum lot size of 1 1/4 acres. Each proposed lot meets the minimum lot size and width as required by the R10 SL zoning district. Jamie Avenue is not currently constructed internal to the proposed subdivision. Thus, the petitioner is required to construct approximately 372 feet from Carl Street to the proposed 50-foot radius temporary turnaround on Jamie Avenue to municipal standards, and also to dedicate 30 feet of right-of-way for Jamie Avenue along the northern subdivision boundary to Hillside Drive. The north-south 33-foot section line easement runs along the west property boundary of the subdivision. The municipality is requesting a 60-foot public use easement be dedicated that runs generally north to south from Jamie Avenue to Tract A at the south. This easement will comply with the Hillside District Plan and Anchorage Area-Wide Trails Plan for a trail connection across that property. The preliminary plat appears to generally conform to the goals and policies of the Hillside District Plan and the Anchorage 2020 Comp Plan. Watershed Management Services has requested the analysis for the 100-year event has been provided, but needs some minor corrections, and on-site water and wastewater will require information to satisfy their requirements of AMC 2115, 15.55, and 15.65. With that being said, the department recommends approval of the plat for 24 months, subject to the conditions found on page 9 and 10 of the staff packet. I believe the petitioner is here to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, does the board have any questions for staff? Seeing none, we'll now turn to the petitioner. May we have the petitioner's representative?
Hello, Andre Spinelli, Spinell Homes.
Thank you. And do you want to reserve any of your time for rebuttal?
Sure.
Okay. You want to have a specific amount?
No,
Okay, well, you'll automatically get
Just
whatever.
the rest.
Whatever's left, okay.
should be plenty. I guess I'll just start by saying we ended up at this subdivision configuration because the municipality had indicated in the past that they wouldn't support large lot subdivisions in this area of the hillside because of the lack of connectivity or lack of a secondary access, and that's the Mountaineer Drive extension. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but it doesn't exist. So that was kind of how we came up with this plat of 4 lots that basically was a balance of as many lots as we could create with a minimal amount of improvements to hopefully make it so the lots are affordable enough for somebody to purchase. That's basically all I got. There's some wetlands on the property, but we're trying to avoid it, so reserve the rest of my time.
Okay. Well, you have 9 minutes and 5 seconds for rebuttal. With that, does the board have any questions for Mr. Spinelli? Not at this time. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll now open it up for questions from the public. Do we have anyone from the public who wishes to speak on this matter? I take it no one is interested in speaking on this matter? And so with that, we'll ask for petitioner's representative. Is there any rebuttal that you would like to offer to the questions?
No, thank you.
All right. With that, we'll close the public hearing aspect and the...
Just ask questions.
You had a question on the rebuttal part? Okay. We have a question for you.
Mr. Spinelli, do you have the application packet?
No, not in front of me.
I just wanted to ask you some questions about the public comments and then allow you an opportunity to rebut those. On page 98, Ms. Diane Holmes, oh great. It's only fair that I allow you to turn to page 98. Are there any of these 11 items that you can address for us?
I'm not familiar with policy 55 of the comp plan off the top of my head. Are you?
We'll allow staff to address that.
Okay.
So number 2 is the Hillside District Plan.
And we have agreed to dedicate right-of-way along what is traditionally where the trail is. The trail runs down Jamie Drive, and then I've never actually been on it, but to my knowledge, it then heads northwest towards Bear Valley Elementary. So that was something I believe that kind of came up in the pre-app and was considered okay as needed. There's also the 60-foot public use easement that could allow for trails. I don't know what else you want to what else they would want to meet that, but
Well, I can ask staff. I just want to make sure that we have the information that we have a significant rebuttal or sufficient rebuttal so that we can have a positive vote on this.
As far as stream setbacks, the municipality has had a new stream setback policy that they've been talking about implementing for some time, and we've basically deferred to what the staff has indicated they would like to see.
Okay, and just, I don't think you've had time, I know you're not.
Yeah, no, unless you have I can answer specific questions, but.
All right, is there, would you mind turning to page 96, just 2 pages before that? This is from the Rabbit Creek Community Council, which is outside of this district, but they are concerned that sediment from this will go through into Potter Marsh. Are you addressing, are your plans with your drainage plans addressing stormwater runoff adequately so that the Potter Marsh won't have an impact?
Absolutely.
Okay.
There would be about 37 acres of vegetated buffer between me and my property lines. I don't anticipate there being
I know the math, it takes a lot less than that to protect the water.
yeah, I don't see that being a problem. Most of my property drains to the northwest corner, which is kind of a low area, marshy area. Obviously, we'll protect that area from sediments getting into it, but it'll also have its own filtration system before anything gets to the creek.
I agree, that would be a good enhancement for the stormwater runoff. Is there anything else you can look at real quick on page 96 or 97 that you wish to address? Have anything specific in mind? I'm just giving you an opportunity.
No.
Okay. Thank you. I don't have any other questions.
Sean Odell.
Through the chair to address Mr. Young there, so that if you look, this was originally submitted, the plat, and then it was postponed, and we had them go back to the surveyor and redraw the plat to address a lot of these issues. And we're seeing, if you notice the comments on page 98, those are from February 27th. We had them redraw the plat and address pretty much all those issues there. And we sent out noticed everyone for comments, and nothing came back. But I included that anyhow because that's part of the record. And those, if you look on page long-range planning's comments that start on page 83, they address all the different policies and that relate to the Hillside District Plan trailheads.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Jenna Wilson.
This isn't much of a question, but just to address the chair's Don's question before. Policy 55 is provide pedestrian and trail connections within and between residential and subdivisions and in new plats. And it sounds like you addressed that with the easement. So that sounds like that was taken care of.
Thank you. So with that, we'll close the public hearing, and the matter now rests with the board. May I have a motion to approve the plat for 24 months is subject to conditions? Daniel Young moves and Don Porter seconds. Dan Young, would you please state your motion?
Yes, in the case of S12313, Burwood subdivision, lots 1 through 4, I move to approve the plat for 24 months subject to the conditions on page 9 and 10 of our staff packet.
Thank you. And is there any findings you'd like to put in the record?
Yes, through the chair. There are, I'll start with the public comments on page 96, 97, 98, and we have asked the petitioner and staff, and those issues have been addressed. On page 83 of our package, the long-range planning has addressed those issues. And those comments are from February and April, and the plat has been redrawn since then to meet those concerns.
Thank you. Is there?
One moment.
Oh, okay.
We found that the proposed lots meet the minimum size and width for R10 zoning. The municipality is requesting a 60-foot public use easement, and that's going to be granted. The easement will comply with the Hillside District Plan and the Anchorage Area-Wide Trails Plan for trail connections. The preliminary plat appears to generally conform to the goals and policies of the Hillside District Plan and the Anchorage 2020 Comprehensive Plan. Specifically, goals 1, 9, and 10 of the Hillside District Plan and policies 48, 53, 69, and 71 of the Anchorage 2020 Comprehensive Plan. And those are my findings, and those are the reasons I'm going to support this.
Thank you.
Approval.
Are there any other findings? Is there any opposition to approving the plat? Seeing no opposition, the plat is approved. We will now take up case S12350, and on Resolution Bluff subdivision, the petitioner has requested a postponement of the case due to notices not being complied with. May I have a motion to approve the postponement? Don Porter moves, and Valerie Ritz seconds. Is there any opposition to the motion? Seeing no opposition, the motion passes. We'll now take up case S12353, Harmony Ranch subdivision and Eaglet Erie Road, or subdivision. May we have petitioner, or may we have the staff's presentation?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is the second 18-month time extension request of the preliminary plat, previously approved on April 2nd, 2014. The Platting Board approved a first time extension request on December 2nd, 2015 to subdivide 2 tracts of land into 12 lots and 2 tracts of land with variances. The petitioner is exercising their right to request a time extension. The purpose of this time extension has become necessary due to the extensive process and circumstances related to the road design. The time extension request was submitted prior to the expiration of the preliminary plat as required by AMC 2115-115D2. Generally, reviewing agencies had no comment or no objection to the time extension request. Watershed Management Services did have one comment regarding a correction to the code citation for a requested plat note. Therefore, the Planning Department is recommending approval of the second 18-month time extension to October 10th, 2018, subject to the modification of condition C2K2C, which is found on page 1 of the staff packet. And that's basically just updating the code citation that they had previously. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you. Are there any questions for staff? Seeing no questions, is the petitioner or their representative present?
Apologies, I just stepped in. My name is Ben Schiller, Schiller. I'm representing Jerry Harmon, and what we're doing is asking for an extension request. It's the second 18-month time extension for their preliminary plat.
Thank you. And one of the items that they've asked us to change is this one item on the reference to the legal provision on C. Do you have any issue with us making that?
Do we have any issues with the flood?
I have to apologize. I'm kind of hard of hearing, so I couldn't.
We don't have-
Staff is recommending that the citation needs to be changed in condition C2K IIC.
It's not in the floodplain.
But we don't have any issue with that
No.
citation. No, so we don't have any issue with that.
And your name, sir, is?
Jerry Harmon.
Jerry Harmon, thank you. Dan Young.
Thank you. Through the chair, I'd like to ask a question of staff. The citation, has the ordinance changed, or is it just the actual citation that's changed?
Through the chair, Mr. Young, I didn't ask that of Watershed Management Services when they sent this request to change that. They just mentioned that the code section had changed, and I didn't ask the particulars.
Thank you.
Okay.
The boundaries of the flood hazard district may be altered.
And with that, are there any other questions? Thank you. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this matter? Seeing no one from the public wishing to speak, do you want to use any of your time in rebuttal? Thank you. May we have a motion to approve the time extension of 18 months and the modification of the condition C2K 2C. Dan Young moves. Would you please state your motion?
Yes, in the matter of case S12353 Harmony Ranch subdivision, second time extension request, I move for approval of the second 18-month time extension to October 10th, 2018, subject to the following modification of condition, which is in the bottom of the page 1. It's C.2.K.II lowercase c, which is a change in code, and I believe this code is important.
Thank you. Don Porter seconds your motion, and is there anyone else that wishes to make any findings on this? Is there any opposition? Yes, Mr. Young.
Through the chair, for findings, it appears the purpose of the time extension has become necessary due to extensive process and circumstances relating to the road design, which is a valid reason for supporting this motion or for a time extension. And also the current conditions are substantially the same as those that existed with the preliminary plat. The change that we're making, it appears to just be a code change and not a change in the code, just a citation change.
Thank you. Is there any opposition? Seeing no opposition, the motion passes unanimously. We'll now take up case S12358, DeBar Burgass subdivision, Lot 6. May we have staff's presentation?
Yes, Mr. Chair. This is a request to remove plat note number 1 that reads, no direct vehicular access for lots 6, 7, 8, and 9 on Cleveland Street. In 1981, plat 81-284 was recorded for DeBar Burgass subdivision lots 1 through 9. This platting action subdivided one tract into 9 lots. As a condition of approval, a note indicating no access to Cleveland Street from lots 6 through 9 was added to the plat. The petitioner's representative states that lots 7, 8, and 9 currently have direct access to Cleveland Street. The lot is in use as an outdoor storage of boats, trailers, and snow machines. There are some temporary structures on site also. The property was recently purchased, and the new owner wishes to have the same access to Cleveland Street as is available to Lot 7, 8, and 9. That could be Cleveland Street. The Planning Department received one public comment in support of the plat note removal request. The Traffic Department notes the need to design the site to prevent cut-through traffic to Rudikoff Circle from Cleveland Street to avoid the turn restrictions in place at the intersection of Cleveland and DeBar Road. Based upon the non-objection of the reviewing agencies, the Planning Department recommends removal of this plat note.
Thank you. Are there any questions for staff? Is the removal of a plat note considered a vacation of any kind?
Through the chair, no, it isn't.
Do you know what the standard is for removing plat notes?
It's to come before the Planning Board and request that plat note removal.
Thank you. Jana Welton.
Do you have any sense of why this was on the plat to begin with?
Yes, at the time the lots were developed, lots 1 through 9, there was a comment from traffic engineering that requested that plat note be placed on the subdivision.
Was there some like health and safety issue or?
It was probably thought best at the time that they not have direct access onto Cleveland Street. It's a plat from 1981. I did a microfiche research of it, but other than seeing the comment from Traffic Department, I really couldn't find anything else that would kind of give me a clue as to what their thinking or reasoning for that was.
Okay, thank you.
Have there been any history of accidents on that area with those other lots having access?
Through the chair, Mr. Chair, yes. The comment from traffic has said that there has been no significant safety impacts along this stretch of roadway.
Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing no questions, may we have petitioner's representative?
Hello, my name is Jeff Moore. I'm here on behalf of Luther Hemme, petitioning for him.
Thank you. Do you want to reserve any of your time for rebuttal?
Yeah, whatever's remaining.
Okay.
So I brought kind of a visual aid for you guys. This is off of Rudikoff Circle, across the street from DeBar Costco.
Make sure you get a good, stay in front of the microphone so we get a good record for you.
So, excuse me. So this is the Rudikoff Circle across from Costco, and what they've got going on now is the plat note references these 4 lots here, having no access to Cleveland. All 3 of these lots here currently use Cleveland as their main access. The plat note was never enforced. This was the only undeveloped lot remaining. The new owner wishes to build a building on it and access Cleveland much in the way that these guys currently do. And so that's why we petitioned this before you today. We did in fact go in front of the community, or not the community council, but the Russian Jack Community Council, and we did have a unanimous vote in favor. And I do have a letter for them if you guys would like, from them if you guys would like a copy. But essentially every department we've talked to, traffic, the community council, everyone's in favor of this. They don't really understand how it got that these lots have access currently, but it seems that it's been working since they've done it, and there is no objection to it. So we just ask for the same economic benefits these lots currently share for this one too.
Thank you. Are there any questions for petitioner's representative? Thank you, sir. Is there any members of the public that wish to speak on this matter? Seeing no one, do you want to use any of your rebuttal time? Thank you, sir. Are there any questions? Seeing none, we'll now close the public hearing on this matter, and the matter now rests with the board. May I have a motion to remove the plat note? Jana Welton, would you like to state your motion, please?
Make a motion to remove the plat note on lots 7, 8, and 9. Would you like me to include some findings?
Yes, you can speak to your motion.
The staff looks like they have thoroughly researched this and found no negative health or safety impacts from access from 7, 8, and 9 directly onto Cleveland Road. And petitioner has presented sufficient evidence that there's no objections and that this is not going to cause a negative impact. And traffic department has also no objections for the removal of plat note 1, and that was the department that originally placed the plat note.
Thank you. Sharon Ferguson.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to point out that this plat note removal only involves Lot 6. So if Ms. Welton could reiterate, yes.
I amend my motion to only include Lot 6.
Okay. And with that, is there any other comments? Dan Young.
Yes, I intend to support this motion, and I just want to add a couple of other findings. There was one public comment that was in favor of this, and the traffic department notes that there's a need to design the site to prevent cut-through traffic to Rudikoff Circle. So this is a benefit to the city and to the traffic, and I'm going to support this.
Thank you. Mark Seward.
I, too, intend to support this motion. On page 4, and if we can reference page 6, I'm going to start with Lot 9 after looking at the property. Lot 9 is a credit union building that has actually 2 driveways on Clevin and 1 on Rudikoff. The ones on Clevin are an entrance and exit. Lot 8 has 2 driveways on Clevin that are both directions, and 1 and 2 on the west side on Rudikoff. And Lot 7 has 2 driveways, 1 on Clevin and 1 on Rudikoff. There doesn't appear, I know when this plat was done, DeBar Road to the north was a 2-lane road, and it did not have the turn medians that it has now, and that may have been a factor in the plat note. Rudikoff is a west and east turn lane. Clevin's only an eastbound turn lane, and so I've never seen any traffic problems in that area, and for those findings and the facts by other board members, I intend to support this motion.
Thank you. Are there any other findings? Is there any opposition to the motion on the floor? Seeing no opposition, the motion passes. So, are there any appearance requests before the board tonight? Are there any persons that wish to be heard? Any reports from the board? And I'd like to make the announcement that the next meeting will be 16 August 2017. And also that we are going to need to recruit another member for this next year. We have we'll need 2. So if you have any ideas of individuals that might be interested, we should be contacting them so we don't wind up shorthanded come October. And with that, we stand in adjournment.